All right. Well, afternoon, everybody. My name is Mike Lagerquist here with Vine Faith in Action. I am just here to do a quick little introduction to our presenters today. They are from the Mayo Clinic Health System Hospice program here in Mankato, and they will introduce themselves and what they will be speaking on today as part of this presentation on how to care for yourself as you care for others. Because if you don't care for yourself first, you really can't care for anyone else. So I will hand it off to Kim Rochadle.
All right, thanks, Mike, and thanks to everyone who's with us this afternoon. And we apologize for having to postpone or reschedule this. Some things came up very last minute last time, and I'm glad to see you all here today, and we're very, very happy to be here. So like Mike said, I'm Kim Rochadle, and I am the volunteer coordinator for hospice, for the Mayo Hospice, and Sheila Skilling is with us, and Sheila is one of our admin assistants. And Sheila's going to be kind of talking a little bit about exercise and that physical well-being that we all need to really focus on. And Jeannie Atkinson is our bereavement coordinator, and she is going to be talking about caring for yourself and coping strategies and grief, anticipatory grief, and really how tough life can be. And I think in this day of COVID, we are all experiencing some grief in our lives just from everyday living, and how difficult this has been. Again, glad you're here, and hope that you take away a tidbit or two of new information about caring for yourself as you care for others. We will be coming back as different characters, so don't be surprised if you don't recognize them. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Jeannie, and she'll get us started.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome from the North Pole. I am Ms. Blitzen. I am the teacher at the Reindeer School at the North Pole. And I'm going to be sharing about caregiving, the stress, and some coping strategies and things like that. And I'm going to first of all pull my PowerPoint up here. This is a PowerPoint that I have used at the North Pole because, as you know, the reindeers and Santa are busy getting ready for their big day on the 24th of December. And so I'm trying to teach them how to take care of themselves because, they're really the ultimate caregivers. So I put together this little presentation for you from my lesson plans from the North Pole Reindeer School. So how to care for yourself as you care for others, tips and tricks. Okay, I guess we should have tried to make sure that this would go forward, and we didn't do that. Okay.
There you go.
Oh, here we go. Yes, now it works. Okay, so this is our agenda here today. We're going to be talking about caregiver stress, coping strategy, eating healthy, and exercise. So as you know, you're all caregivers, so you know what an emotional and physical strain it is to care for others. And research has shown that caregivers, have a lot more stress than the average reindeer because, they're busy caring for other people. So they have lots of stress in their life. And I lost my page here. Okay, here we go. So as you know, caregivers are on call almost all day. There's little time, to focus on what you like to do, spending time with friends. There's just a lot of responsibilities, of course, that go with caregiving, and you oftentimes can feel overwhelmed. And, with the current situation that we're in now, COVID certainly has put more stress on our caregivers because you have no relief. You're spending a lot of time probably at home, so you don't expose anything to your loved ones. And so there is just a lot of extra demands on people during this time. And so it is really important to take care of ourselves. So how does caregiving affect our health? Well, people who caregive because they're under so much stress and have so much responsibility can have increased feelings of sadness and depression and anxiety. You're busy caregiving, and oftentimes your immune system can, be depleted. And you may not eat real healthy, so you might have some weight concerns. And of course, because you're caregiving and may not be taking care of yourself, you're at higher risk for developing more chronic diseases. So as we take care of our loved ones, we experience losses along the way. We see their health deteriorate. We grieve the loss of the way life was. It's difficult, as you know, to watch our loved ones be, slowly decline. And so there's lots of feelings of loss associated with that. We also have feelings of loss about, we can't get out and do fun things like we used to. We don't have as much independence because we're kind of tied, of course, to our loved ones. And we don't have those social connections that we used to have, as frequently, especially now with COVID, that of course has increased. Going backwards. So with caregiving, there's lots of profound losses. So these are just a few of them. We don't have as much independence. Our friendships are more limited. We may not have those kind of intellectual stimulation maybe that we used to have before. Sometimes there's stress, on money and feeling that loss of those our money because of the high cost of care, medical care these days. So these are just a few of the losses that people experience, and of course it adds to that caregiver stress. So here's just some signs. I just kind of put some signs down of caregiving stress. You may or may not, be experiencing these things, but oftentimes people, feel very worried and overwhelmed about what the future holds, what their responsibilities are. They're oftentimes fatigued. Maybe have more signs of physical ailments. May have loss of interest in doing the things that they used to do because they are so tired and feeling overwhelmed. So the big thing we're here to talk about today is that caregiving piece. And these are things I talk about with Santa and the reindeers. So I'm just going to share just a few tips for you to just take away that you can use during this time. So just some general tips of, of course, seeking that support from other people who are experiencing the same thing, other caregivers, joining support groups or making contact with neighbors, friends who are, experiencing the same thing that you're experiencing. It kind of helps us feel, like we have a connection with somebody. It helps normalize how we're feeling, those kinds of things. So making those connections. And accepting help from others. Sometimes that's really hard, to ask for help. I know that Santa really has a hard time asking for help. And that's where he has to pull in, of course, all his elves and so forth. And so you need to pull in your little elves that are there for you as well. Ask them for specific things that they can do for you, like shopping, picking up, the mail if they're out and about and it's difficult for you to get to the mailbox. Those kinds of things. So don't be afraid to ask your little elves for help as well. Caregiving is hard work, so take those little rests. I really tell, Santa that he really needs to take breaks right now because it is difficult. Whether it just be, when you're caregiving and maybe your loved one is lying down for a nap, to take that nap or take that time when they're resting, to call a friend, to walk down the block. Just take those little 5-minute respites during the day, just to kind of get rejuvenated and relaxed and renewed. And of course, watch for those signs of depression. I think if you're feeling sad all the time, if you have no feelings of joy or no, feelings of happiness throughout the day, your little moments of joy, that's certainly a sign of depression if you have none of those feelings. And so to talk to your doctor or get some professional help, that's really important so that you can continue to caregive and provide those needs to your loved one. And just being organized with all your medical information, that can reduce the amount of stress that you feel. So getting a file system and getting everything in order so that everything is up to date and easy to find. That'll help relieve some of that stress. You know, as we know, being disorganized and we're trying to find things, pull things out here and there, that can really add to our stress. So just getting organized with that. You know, also, I know that sometimes, you know, even, you know, we can be intimidated by those doctors when we're communicating with them. And so learning how to talk to them as well when you're going to medical appointments with your loved one, writing down what you want to talk about, and making sure that you're covering everything, you know, learning about the illness so that you can go in and be prepared. When you're talking with a doctor, so you know what you're talking about. That'll make you feel empowered that you know what you're talking about and feel more confident. And just taking some notes during those sessions as well with the doctor so that you can take that home and refer back to it. Again, that can help you reduce some of those feelings of caregiver stress and anxiety. And then just making sure all your legal documents are ordered so that if there does come a situation where you need to immediately access them or you have questions about that, that's all set and there's no worry or anxiety about how am I going to get this done when I'm caregiving and all that, and all those kinds of things. So making sure those things are in order can help. And of course, you know, it's easy to be really hard on ourselves. So I feel like I'm not doing enough, you know, to feel guilt, you know, when you do take care of yourself, or, you know, feeling guilt that you didn't get, you know, enough medical attention or the right medical attention for your loved one. So it's easy to get down on ourselves, but just remember that you're doing the best that you can at the time and with the resources that you have. This is one of the toughest jobs is to caregive and to take care of somebody, and just to recognize that you're doing the best that you can, and that you recognize the good things that you do, and don't look at the what ifs or should haves or could haves, but what did I accomplish today? What did I do good? And to focus on those things, and to pat yourself on the back, and to pamper yourself. Do something for yourself each day that feels good. You know, it might be just watching, you know, your favorite Christmas show at night when your loved one's asleep or something like that, but doing something to pamper yourself. So I'm going to talk a little bit about coping with, you know, with the holiday as a stress, the holiday during this time, and what you can do as a caregiver to reduce some of that caregiver stress during the holidays. So what I really encourage people to do is prioritize and choose. So caregiving, as we know, can be very exhausting. And so take a look at all your traditions, make a list of all the different things that you typically do during the holiday season. And then from that list, think about, well, what can I accomplish? What do I have the energy to do? And pick a few things from that item, that list. You know, maybe instead of, you know, making 10 dozen cookies, maybe just make 2 dozen cookies. Or, you know, just send out a few Christmas cards, not your full list. Putting up a small Christmas tree, not a big one, or just a few decorations, you know, whatever you have the energy for. You know, it's okay to scale back when you're caregiving and you don't have a lot of energy. And with this COVID situation, you know, it can be very isolating and you may not have the energy to do stuff. So it's okay to scale back, to prioritize and choose what you want to do. Another thing I really suggest for people to do is put together a holiday plan if you're going to be alone. You know, my parents, they're in their 80s, and my husband's parents are as well. And so they're going to be spending the holiday alone. And so, because of COVID. So thinking about that, I would encourage you, if you're going to be spending the time along with caregiving, that you put together a holiday plan for those days. By putting together a plan, that helps reduce anxiety and fear or feelings of loneliness that you may have. So by putting together a plan, it can kind of reduce those negative feelings, and it helps you to look forward, you know, to something. So I would suggest you plan something special just between, you know, for the two of you, something that you normally wouldn't, you know, do. You know, maybe it's reading the Christmas story together in a book or in the Bible, or, you know, putting up lighting a candle and saying a special prayer together, watching your favorite holiday movie, plan in some Zoom calls or FaceTime or call family members on that day. Maybe you want to think about, well, I'm going to, planning a special day in the spring or summer when all this is over to celebrate the holidays. Just postpone it a few months and to set that date. Maybe at Easter, maybe Easter, or you would celebrate Christmas on that day. So putting together a special holiday plan. So for each of the holidays coming up, we're going to have Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's, and New Year's Eve. What can I do on those days to help me get through the day with my loved one if you're going to be spending it alone? What can I do in the morning, the afternoon, and the evening? We're planning it out. So you have things to look forward to and things that can kind of help you get through the day, get through those days. So I like to really stress that, remember, having a plan and being prepared on those days really lessens those feelings of anxiety. Well, how am I going to get through the day? I'm not going to be able to see my family. It's just not going to be any fun. So by planning and preparing some special little things, it's really going to lessen those feelings of anxiety and those feelings of isolation and loneliness. You have something to look forward to and something planned. So just some final notes before I hand it off to Kim is, that accept that this is going to be an extra challenging year. I mean, caregiving in itself during this season can be very tiresome and overwhelming, but then you add the whole COVID element in there, and it's just going to be a challenging year. I would encourage you to maintain a positive attitude, make the best of the situation, and looking for the positives in the situation. And there may not be many, but this will be just a time where you can develop something special just with you and your loved one. What can you do together to make it special time? Sometimes when everybody's around, it's hard to really have a special time with your loved one. And then just remember that next year will be better. We'll be able to celebrate, hopefully, Christmas next year how we really want to. And to remember, this will be over soon. I feel really strongly that the worst is behind us and that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and that we will have a vaccine hopefully within the next few months, and that things will get back to normal. So those are just a few little things that I share with Santa and the reindeers to help them get through this busy time so they can take better care of themselves. And one other thing that you can do to take care of yourself is to eat healthy. And so Kim, our handy dandy Kim, is going to share her words of wisdom about eating healthy.
Well, hello, everyone. Mrs. Claus is here. Oh, Miss Blitzen, that was just a fabulous presentation. And I will say that a lot of the things that I was going to talk about, Miss Blitzen already covered as well, which is good. So that way, because I'm not a very quick learner. So if I hear things twice, it's probably a better thing. Or I might remember if I hear it more than once. So welcome to all of you. And I get to talk a little bit about healthy eating. And I think for caregivers, it's really tough because you've got so much going on in your households. Do you really have time to think about your meals, to think about what you need for yourself? We're so focused on our loved ones. And when Sister Joyce asked if we could do a presentation like this, my mom had recently passed away. And she came and stayed she had been in a memory care unit, and she came and stayed at our house for the last 2.5, 3 weeks of her life. And it was very hard. I have a new empathy for people who are taking care of their loved ones. And so when Sister asked about it, I thought, really, I feel like I kind of know my experience was very short, but it was tough, because you don't think about yourself. I was so focused on mom and what does mom need and what can I do for mom? And not thinking about what I needed to do for me. I'll be fine. It'll all be over. I'll be able to get back to a normal life, or it's going to be okay. And it is, eventually it is going to be okay, but it takes time. So I applaud all of you for your role in taking care of people that you love, and know that we all know that it's not an easy job. So let's get back to food, one of my favorite things. I'm going to take a look at my notes here. So we've got food, we've got meals, we've got the holidays. And I kind of think planning. So people always tell us, just try to plan things out. Well, you know what they say about planning? The best laid plans can many times do not come to fruition. So it's good to have a plan for food. Now, I loved Miss Blitzen's ideas about planning your holiday out, because I thought that would be very helpful, I think, in these days of kind of our loneliness, to have that plan. But as far as planning your meals, you never know what's going to happen from one minute to the next and what you're going to feel like eating. So I like to say, as Mrs. Claus, I got to show you my cute sweater I have on here, because I got a little snowman on, so I'm really quite festive for this event. But I do like to say, what do I like to say? Oh, have things that are easy to put together, that might just be in your refrigerator and say, or in that cupboard. Boy, that tomato soup by Campbell's looks really good sitting there. I think John and I are going to have that today. Or Susie and I are going to have some tomato soup and maybe a grilled cheese sandwich. We look for comfort food and quick food. I was listening to KTOE. This was a few weeks ago now, and it was National Sandwich Day. And they had talked about the various states and what the favorite sandwich was in each state. Any idea what Minnesota was? Thoughts? Okay, Barry, what do you think? Oops, we got to unmute you.
I don't know. You Minnesota people are a lot different than Iowa people.
Well, how about Iowa? What do you think the favorite in Iowa would be?
A steak sandwich, I think, would be
Oh,
Iowa.
a steak sandwich. Okay.
Yeah, ribeye.
Uh-huh. Any other guesses?
I don't know. I'd say a BLT in the summer.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Okay, I'll tell you, it was a fried egg sandwich. Is the favorite sandwich in Minnesota. I really have a hard time believing that. Although I thought about it, and I used to like fried egg sandwiches as a kid, but I haven't made one in years. So as we're getting ready for this presentation, I'm thinking, how easy is it to make a fried egg sandwich? And how good for us is a fried egg sandwich? So there's one of those quick things that you can do. As far as that planning and the food and the meals, how many of you guys, just show of hands, how many of you do online grocery shopping? Couple? I think really, how convenient is that for especially people who are in their homes and it's really hard to get out? I went online and I actually called Hy-Vee and said, what do you have to do? It's really easy. And I'm sure even in Iowa, Barry, I bet in Iowa they have online grocery shopping.
Hy-Vee started here.
Oh, did
Yeah.
it really?
Yeah, we're taking over Minnesota.
Wow. Well, I love our Hy-Vee store.
Yeah, they're good stores.
Yeah. So you just have to online do an account and then do your weekly grocery, or however often you have to go to the grocery store. Curbside pickup is free and with a $30 minimum. So, I mean, how easy is it to spend $30 at the grocery store? You don't have to buy too many items and you've got that covered. And then as far as going out to get your groceries, maybe that's not real convenient for you. So let's go back to what Miss Blitzen said. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Call your neighbor and say, jeepers, Susie, I need some help. I can't get to the grocery store. Would you mind when you go and pick your groceries up, could you pick mine up too? And kind of coordinate that way. Or they do have delivery. Now there's a $10 charge for the delivery. So that wouldn't be my first choice, but it certainly is an option. The other option would be, maybe it's a good idea for you to get out of the house and you call that neighbor or you call one of your kids and say, hey, dear heart, could you come and sit with dad for a little while? I'm just going to run to the grocery store and pick up my groceries and I'll be back shortly. And I do think those breaks away from the house are good, if it's at all possible. And now again with COVID, I know we're all a little bit more leery about having people come into our homes, but using that good hand hygiene, masking, that sort of thing, just be smart in what we do. I also think meals throughout the day, to sit down and eat a big meal. For me, now for Mr. Claus, for Santa, he's okay with it. But as Mrs. Claus here, I really don't want to sit down and eat a great big meal. So maybe what we do is have, 4 or 5 smaller meals, just a bowl of cereal, or that bowl of cereal in the morning, and then maybe at 11, a fried egg sandwich. And then at 2, maybe having a nice dish of yogurt with some fruit on it. So and that's good food for the person that you're caring for as well. And not knowing everybody's situations, sometimes there are food restrictions that you have to really work around. But if you don't have food restrictions yourself, make sure you're taking care of yourself. Eating the stuff you enjoy. I'll tell you, my husband just retired. I'm getting ready to retire. So he's been doing a lot of the cooking. I'm like, Mr. Claus here, Santa. Santa's not retiring, but, and it's kind of like, I sit there and I think, okay, I really just want to eat stuff that I like now. If it's something that Dan is making for me and I'm not crazy about it, it's like, I just as soon not eat this. So let's just I just want to eat things that I enjoy along with being healthy. So keep that in mind. I think we all deserve to enjoy our meals, to enjoy the meal time, enjoy that meal prep. And along with that, I think it's nice to be able to sit at your table, and either with you and your loved one, or if it's a situation where you generally have your meals by yourself, treat yourself, be nice to yourself, and set out the good dishes. Maybe have a pretty wine glass instead of if you're gonna have wine. And even if you're not going to have wine, you can set out a nice wine glass and put some cranberry juice in it. And your dish, light your candles, have a nice candle lit, and just have a nice little meal for yourself and your loved one, or just yourself. So those are a couple of tips that I've thought of. Also, one of my volunteers is single and just does a beautiful job of cooking for herself. So we were kind of talking about this, and she said, Kim, Marie Callender's frozen TV dinners at Hy-Vee are really good. And I know the Marie Callender's pot pies are really good. So don't say to yourself, gee, I really have to work hard to make this a nice meal. Kind of stock a few of those those frozen TV dinners in your freezer, and try that every once in a while when you're really under the gun and don't have any time. So those are a couple of tips for what you can do when you're in a pinch. And don't forget that fried egg sandwich. Any clues that you guys have? Just show of hands and we'll let you talk. Anything that you guys do for yourselves? Not really? That's okay. All right. Oh, crock pot meals, those are great. The other thing, I wouldn't make a big meal, because you can only eat the same thing for so long. So if you make a ton of something, make it so that you can at least put some of it in the freezer and pull it out later, or just make a small serving, just maybe 1 chicken breast versus 2 for you and your spouse, because you're probably not going to eat both of them, so things like that, just little tips. Again, being good to yourself, as Miss Blitzen said, take care, love yourself and care for yourself, doing what brings you joy. For me, it would be, sitting at the table with my good dishes or my Christmas dishes and that glass of wine. Things that make me happy, and eating what I like. And the holidays, those can be, I think, very stressful. And as far as the baking and the cooking goes, I tend to overcook and overbake. And now I don't know if very many of our kids will be with us, probably not. So do I really need to make 6 dozen rosettes? Probably not. Do I need to make the, what are those cookies called out of the press? I can never remember the name. Spritz, yep, the Spritz, the cutout cookies, all my caramels that I make. Do I really need to make all of that? And if that brings me joy, if I really enjoy doing it, yes, I should do it. But maybe do it like starting now. Maybe I should make my spritz and just make like a small batch, and then let's eat them this week. Because if you make everything all at the same time, you've got all these baked goods sitting in your house. You can't possibly eat them all, and you don't want to have to throw them away. So just maybe weekly, set out a plan. This week I'm doing spritz. Next week I'll do rosettes. Then I'm going to do caramels, and then I'm going to do cutout cookies. You know, just little things to still enjoy the holiday, to still bring back those memories, the smells in your house, and enjoy the holiday that way. Okay. So now what I want to do is I've got a little cooking project here that we're going to do together. How much time do we have? Oh, we have plenty of time. All right. So I've got a bowl here. I'm going to try and do this so that you guys can see more. I'm going to pretend like I'm on TV. This isn't going to work very well. Well, maybe it will. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Yeah, is that okay? Okay, so the first thing I want to make is these are called no-bake energy bites. So for Santa, rather than having him eat all those cookies, he's much better off having one of my energy bites that's full of good things and not so much the bad things. So we've got this one, we take 1 cup of old-fashioned oats. See, and this is how quick this is. We're going to do this right here. There's my oats. And then we're going to take 2/3 cups of shredded coconut. So not shredded, what's it called? Toasted shredded coconut. Can you see that? I kind of over toasted my coconut, but I think it's going to give it that, it'll give it that burnt taste, you know what I mean? Or it'll be good. Put that in there. And then we are going to add a 1/2 cup of creamy peanut butter. I don't know if you prefer crunchy. I don't know why you couldn't do crunchy peanut butter. I prefer creamy. So that's my choice. Okay, there's that. Let's get this in there. And what's next? Oh, a 1/2 cup of ground flax seed. Now flax has got the omega-3s, really, really good for us, and you don't taste it. Okay, so 1/2 cup. And this one I found at Hy-Vee. It's ground flaxseed with bits of real blueberries, strawberries, cranberries, raspberries, and elderberries. So those are those super fruits that are very good for us. And this gives us 3 grams of dietary fiber per serving, which we're not going to have probably a serving per bite here. But so what I'm putting in a 1/2 cup of the ground flaxseed. Okay. Oh yeah, and a 1/2 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips. Whoops, what happened there? Am I still on?
Oh, we got somebody's screen sharing. Larry, are you able to hit the button that says stop sharing?
Let's see.
Should be in the top of your screen, I would think.
Okay. Is it blue?
It says stop sharing.
Okay.
I thought it was red, but I'm not sure.
Oh, there it is. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Here, I'll push this back to my bowl. Okay, so
There,
now
I
we've
got
got
it.
Thanks,
Yep.
Larry.
Okay.
good 1/2 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips. I recommend the mini ones because they stir in a little more easily. Okay, there's that. Oh, and 1/3 cup of honey. And you'll see I'm just kind of throwing it all in my bowl here. And there's our honey. All right, there's that one. And a little bit of vanilla, a teaspoon of vanilla extract. So we'll throw that in. And then we simply stir this all up. See, that's what it looks like. And it stirs really easily. You just get that peanut butter in particular is probably the toughest one to get stirred around. And then the recipe says you should put it in the refrigerator, or seeing as we live in Minnesota and Iowa, we can put it out in our garage or out on our front step. And it will cool for about 30 minutes. And then you just mix it or put it into balls. And then you can put them into a plastic bag and you should store them in your refrigerator. So that's how you mix all that. I would set it outside and then voila, here is the finished product. Now notice Santa must have come and eaten a few of these energy balls. So I hope he has some good energy as he's making all those toys for Tots. So there's our first little energy bite idea. And like I said, they're full of good things for us, and they are actually very, very tasty. And I do like use those mini chocolate chips are really a good idea. And I wanted to share one other thing with you that is one of my favorites, and that is a smoothie. So how many of you guys do run to Caribou or to Starbucks or somewhere and grab a smoothie for $5, $6, $7, $8, something like that? It's like, oh my gosh, they're so expensive. And we're kind of stuck at home now, so they're very, very easy to make. I got to move on to my next recipe. Oops, that's not it. Here we go. Healthy mixed berry smoothies. I'm going to move a couple of things around here. Here is my Vitamixer. Now you probably don't need anything quite this high powered. But this is one of those deals that I made Santa get us for the North Pole when we were at the state fair many, many years ago. It's like, oh my gosh, I was just sucked right into that presentation. I said, we must have one of these. So he was very kind and let me buy one. And that was in 2007. So when I was making a smoothie, a week or so ago, I all of a sudden realized it wasn't grinding the way it's supposed to. So I took this off, and one of the pieces of the equipment flew off. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got this presentation to do and my Vitamixer isn't going to work. Fortunately, it was just a small repair and now it works. So we're lucky. So, but I don't think you need anything quite this high powered. So the first thing I'm going to get is my milk. Now they say 1.5 cups of almond milk, sweetened or unsweetened, or no, they said unsweetened. And thought I had that. Okay, here's 1.5 cups. This recipe makes 2 good-sized smoothies. So if I'm making one for just me, I would cut this in half. And then 2 cups of mixed berries. I'll be right back. A little hint on this too. I usually, well, many times I make like our blueberry, raspberry, strawberry mix. And there's a lot of seeds in those pieces of fruit. So when you're eating that smoothie, there's a lot of seeds. And when I was looking at some videos, they were recommending mango and how mango is really pretty good. So this and pineapple. So I got the tropical blend from Hy-Vee. And so I haven't tried this one yet, so I'm anxious to try it. We put 2 cups of frozen fruit in here, and they really recommend, well, you know, in the summertime, we have all that fresh fruit, but you like the frozen to make the smoothie. And if you use ice, it waters it down. So it's kind of nice to, if you've got fresh fruit, throw some of that in. If not, so there's 1. We'll just add a little extra. Oh, 2. Next. Oh, a banana frozen. So when I was doing this a few weeks ago, it encouraged people to use a frozen banana. So I threw the banana in the freezer with the skin on, and then I pulled it out to make my smoothie. It's really hard to get the skin off of a frozen banana, so I had to let it thaw out, and then it was kind of mushy. So I did learn a quick lesson there. Peel your banana before you throw it in the freezer. And let's see. Oh, they want some honey in this. Oh, a little bit of vanilla too. Just a half teaspoon for this. So we'll just put a little. That's good. And a tablespoon of honey. And I think we'll just go like this. You can also put yogurt in here. The Greek yogurt, I would recommend well, I'm not crazy about plain Greek yogurt, but I think in something like this, it would be good and it would be better for us. Also frozen yogurt. I've got Go-Gurts here for my grandkids. And so I can throw Go-Gurts in. That works out pretty good. I'm not going to do that with this one, but I am going to add spinach. Say just a cup, but another recipe I looked at said 2 cups. So I'm just going to throw some in. Okay, and then I was doing some stuff with celery yesterday, and I thought, well, shoot, I bet some celery would be good in this. So these celery leaves would probably be okay. I'm not going to do the other part because that's kind of stringy, but like that. Okay, so now we've got all of our ingredients in our mixer, and it's going to be kind of loud, so be ready. I hope I have everything. I think so. All right, here we go.
We'll be over. Cam's tried out.
I know. I wish I had a little Dixie cup like at the state fair. Oops, it's a little thick. I think it maybe could use a little more milk. So we'll just take a spoon and we'll go like this. Look how green that got. So you think about how good that spinach is in there. I'm anxious to try this because I haven't tried this one with this. Oopsie. Shoot. As Mr. Food would say, it's so good. So there's a quick smoothie. And again, aren't those, what a fun treat. I put the flaxseed in. Yeah, I put everything in. And so we got something nutritious, something tasty, and just a fun little treat. So I think that's all I have to say. What do you think? From Santa and I at the North Pole, be good to yourself. Enjoy the holidays as best we all can. Make those choices that you want. What brings you joy? What makes you happy? And enjoy some of the good food that you usually make, but just make it in a smaller scale. Okay, any questions for me? Well, we're gonna have a question and answer later. Now, for your entertainment and for your information, we have Jackie LaLanne. You guys remember Jack LaLanne, the exercise guy? This is his niece. So Jackie, take it away.
Thank you, Mrs. Claus. Boy, what an act to follow there. Woo! I have to apologize before I start. I'm taking care of Santa's dog, and she gets too little attention this time of year. So if you hear barking or whining or whatever, that's Santa's dog, okay? Now, as Mrs. Claus said, I am Jackie LaLanne. I'm not only an assistant to Santa Claus, but I am also the niece of Jack LaLanne, the godfather of fitness. And when I was a little girl, my mom and I used to watch Uncle Jack's show on TV all the time. And, you know, one of the things he would say that always made me laugh, he'd say, "Get off your seat and onto your feet." And also I have a funny little story about him. Did you know that he knew Arnold Schwarzenegger? So when Uncle Jack was 54 years old and Arnold Schwarzenegger was 21, they met on a beach and had this little informal contest. And I guess Uncle Jack just totally wiped Arnold Schwarzenegger. And Arnold said, "Oh my goodness, that Jack LaLanne is an animal." No, it was more like this. "That Jack LaLanne, he's an animal." So anyway, Uncle Jack's whole mission was to help people get and stay fit and healthy. So let's talk about how can we do that for caregivers. So some possible effects of caregivers not exercising might include headaches, weight gain, the bad effects of too much sitting, more late night eating. Like for example, think about Santa. He is the ultimate caregiver, and look at what all those cookies do to him. So they have more stress, increased blood pressure, and maybe increased depression. Some benefits of exercise, however, would be release of endorphins, or kind of the happiness hormones that can enhance mood, moderate appetite, and boost the immune system, which is good right now. A better response to stress, kind of deplete those stress hormones and lower rates of anxiety and depression. So why don't caregivers exercise? Well, for one thing, they're already exhausted and really busy. And just think about going to the gym, what all that takes. You have to change your clothes, you have to pack a bag, you have to jump in the car and drive over there and stay there, come back, and it just takes a lot of time. Now, according to caregivers resources, no one is too out of shape, too tired, or too busy to exercise. But for caregivers, it seems almost impossible. So how do you do that? Well, for one thing, maybe you don't need such a big block of time. Even as little as 10 minutes here and there can really help. You don't need an hour at a time. However, if you want to schedule a time, set an alarm on your phone, you'd probably have to arrange for a backup caregiver. Try to find something you enjoy doing. Like in my case, I love dancing, any kind of dancing. That is fun for me. So that's what I would want to do. Start slow and work up gradually on your fitness program. Maybe if you have the opportunity, you can have a fitness buddy or someone who goes walking with you once in a while. Try to be consistent as much as you can. Think about your exercise goals and challenge yourself to have a good workout. But you know, always go according to your own fitness level. To determine if you're working hard enough, it's good to be breathing a little faster, a little more heavy, but you should still be able to hold a conversation. Now, this is important. This is a disclaimer. I am no fitness expert. I'm no doctor, no chiropractor, or not even a trainer like my Uncle Jack. So you should always listen to your healthcare provider, and also listen to your body. If something hurts, don't do it. Now, Uncle Jack may have been more age-defying than oil of Olay, but you know yourself best, and you may have limitations like arthritic joints, back pain, low bone density. So even if someone tells you feel the burn, you can feel free to ignore that. And you know, if a particular move hurts you, or you think you might hurt yourself doing it, you know, leave that part out or modify it. And if you choose to do anything more strenuous, it is recommended to warm up a few minutes first, cool down at the end for a few minutes, and then do some nice stretching. So that said, here are a few things you could try at home. Walking. You can maybe do this while your loved one is at a medical appointment or having a nap. You can start with as little as 10 or 15 minutes a day and increase. You can say like Kim said, or Mrs. Claus, if you go to the store, park a little bit further out and walk in when possible. Maybe if you have the opportunity to take stairs rather than an elevator, do that. Pick a destination and time yourself, and then compete against yourself to go a little further or a little faster. Change your destination once in a while so you don't get bored. You can use a Fitbit or some other kind of fitness tracker to see how far you've gone, count your steps or your pace. So all those things help you stick to it. Now, the benefits of walking are kind of like the general benefits of exercise. Lower blood pressure, raise your good cholesterol, reduce body fat, and help you to relax your mind. Gardening or household chores can also be a good way to burn some calories. Things like vacuuming, cleaning, mowing the lawn can all help you. You do bending, stretching, lifting, all kinds of other activities that help kind of give you some exercise. Put on your sneakers, turn on your music, and pick up the pace. Make use of stairs that might be in your home. Take 2 at a time, go up sideways, do lunges or modified push-ups, but keep your shoes on for safety and don't get too fancy going down. Believe me, that can be dangerous. I've tried it. Okay. Lift laundry baskets, soup cans, vinegar jugs, whatever you got. Do some squats or calf raises while you fold the laundry. Vacuuming is a great exercise. You can vacuum with this hand, and just to give your brain a little exercise, vacuum with your other hand once in a while. Hold a wall squat while you're eating a healthy snack like what Mrs. Claus made for you. I also found a list of some common chores that can help you burn 100 to 200 calories. These would include washing windows or floors for 45 to 60 minutes, gardening for 30 to 45 minutes, wheel yourself in a wheelchair for 30 or 40 minutes, maybe while your loved one's taking a nap, rake leaves for 30 minutes, walk 2 miles in 30 minutes, shovel snow for 15 minutes, or do some stair walking for 15 minutes.
Jackie, I just need to interject here. I haven't heard anything like sit and watch a Hallmark movie. Does
Oh,
that qualify?
well, okay, here's this one is for you. If you're watching TV or you're on the phone, stand up while you do that, or pace around a little bit.
Okay.
Or maybe do a little stretching, stretch your leg or your arms. Ride a bike, either outdoor or a stationary bike. And like I say, do some stretching things, just little things like put your head to one ear for a few seconds, to the other ear, to the front, stretch out your arms. I don't know if you can see this. There's one way. Here's the other way. There's just lots of simple stretches that you can do. Oh, this is the hard one. Ah!
Do that while watching a Hallmark movie.
Yes, you can. There's also, okay, so say you get a stiff neck from sleeping in a chair. This has happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know those airplane pillows? Problem solved.
So you do that when
sometimes put it this way.
you do that when you're sitting in the chair, or does that help after you get the stiff neck?
Before you get the stiff neck is preferred.
Okay.
It's actually going to be a bib too, you know.
What's that?
It could be a bib too when you're eating.
Okay. You can also do some balance exercises, like if you're, say, brushing your teeth or washing the dishes, just stand on one foot for a little bit, then switch to the other foot. You can do a little thing where you pretend you're walking a tightrope. Just kind of put one foot directly in front of the other and see how good your balance is. But try and do this near a wall or a counter because you might fall over. Okay. Poof.
He's back.
We don't want to have to call the ambulance here. Okay. So do not try this at home. Not that. Okay. So there's a lot of resources online right now with COVID. That's a good place to check, but I'll give you some hints. You can go and do a Google search for things like good indoor exercises for seniors or good stretches for your lower back. But anytime you search online for resources, be sure to look for those from reputable sources, places you've heard of, sources whose web address ends in .org or .edu would tend to be better than those that end in .com because they're trying to sell you something, quite honestly. It's best if an author is listed for an article and if it has a date of when it's published to see that it's a fairly recent article, that's good too. You can find online charts and things with yoga poses or Tai Chi, things like that, which can help you with stress, depression, sleep. There are also smartphone apps if you have a smartphone that can help you with relaxation. If you find one you want to try, I always check the reviews. And I try to choose one that's free and that has a good rating. A couple I've used are Breathe to Relax, and it's like a number 2, Breathe to Relax. And there's another one called Mindfulness. Those two are good. Calm is also good, but it's gotten so you have to have a subscription to get to most of their content nowadays. Once in a while they offer special deals though, so let's see what next here. Online taped meditations are good, especially the ones that will go through the various muscle groups of your body and help you really relax. Those are good if you have trouble sleeping. And I just look for those on YouTube a lot of times. In some cases, maybe you can exercise with your loved one. Just do simple things like shoulder rolls backwards and forwards, just little things like that, leg stretches. There are other virtual exercise classes out there, and hopefully post-COVID it won't be too long till we can have live classes like water aerobics and other things like that where you can socialize with other people. Virtual classes are currently also are offered by a lot of local organizations and businesses and gyms and that type of thing. So make use of your sources like Vine and other local places. They may have classes during Zoom at a particular time, or they may be recorded so that you can do them when you're able to. One source I turn to is called, this is kind of a long name here, Dan Abraham Healthy Living Center. Dan Abraham Healthy Living Center. And that comes from Mayo, Rochester. And you can find them on YouTube. So if you go to youtube.com and in the search box put DAHLC for Dan Abraham Healthy Living Center. And if you want to be more specific after that, you can add words like chair yoga or stretch. And you'll find more specific things for you, because I will tell you that some of those classes are pretty hard for me. I can't do it all. I flail badly. So, just be a little picky at what you try. There are paid subscription plans. For example, I know there's one called Fit Forever. There are also some by well-known fitness gurus like Kathy Smith and Denise Austin. They've been around for years, so we know them. They cost money, but they usually have a free trial. At the end of that period, you can decide whether or not it's for you. You can purchase exercise videos to play at home, like aerobic classes, kettlebell, stretch, core strength, Zumba, dance, and maybe you can even get those from the public library. I'm not totally sure. Let's see. Okay, so I've talked about a lot of different things. A lot of it's common sense, but I have one left that if you don't remember anything else I said, hopefully you'll remember this last tip. You can always do brief things for a minute or two to get your heart pumping and drum up a little joy. Now, Jack LaLanne, my uncle, was big on things like calisthenics, like push-ups, sit-ups, and of course, jumping jacks. But I've always been a little more of a sweat into the oldies type person myself. Cue the music. Hey, thanks for dancing with us.
All right,
Thanks, Jacqueline. I mean,
great.
Jackie.
fun. How are we closing this up, ladies? Oh, I'm going to say thank you to everyone. Jackie, that was fun. Miss Blitzen, great fun. All of you, thank you so much for joining us. And as Sheila said, I hope that you take away a few things from this. If nothing else, a laugh or two. And may you enjoy this beautiful month of December as we are in Advent and waiting for Christmas, and prayers for COVID to end soon so that we can come back to some semblance of order. And won't it be interesting to see what that looks like? Yeah. So thank you, Sister Joyce. Thank you, Mike, for getting this all set up for us. We were happy to be here.
Did you want to take the questions? Or?
Oh, yeah. Do we have questions and answers? Well, you might have questions. Let's hope you have the answers as well. No questions?
Oh, I'll make a comment. You know, Mike knows me. I always talk, but so I'm Mary, and I had to laugh at your sandwich. I figured it was going to be pulled pork or something out of Minnesota, but at the McGaw's, fried egg is definitely it. It's my to go. I have a Zoom meeting at 6:30 every Tuesday night. And for a while, I didn't think we were going to have anything on Tuesday night but fried egg until I got a little better organized. But that's always what my patient here, that's Donald's favorite food. We got to watch the cholesterol, but it, you know, it is satisfying.
Yeah. Do you toast your bread or do you leave it just untoasted?
Bread with the fried egg sandwich, but always 2 eggs. So.
Oh.
But I appreciate all your joy today, ladies. It's been uplifting. You're pretty silly. I'm down to caffeine because I was going to go to sleep. So now that I spoke, I should stay awake.
There you go.
Put cheese on my egg sandwiches. You always can do avocado too.
Ooh.
A little bacon in there, maybe. Well, it's not real healthy, but you do avocado.
Yeah, good point.
Avocado is also good in the smoothie.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and I've got a few of them in my refrigerator that need to get used up. Thanks for the tip. Good, good.
And just as a reminder, it was mentioned, but yeah, Vine has a full slate of fitness classes and programs. Some of them are done live, mostly on Facebook or sometimes on Zoom. We have our full schedules on, it usually goes out on our Facebook page, certainly at the beginning of the week, for the whole week's worth of classes. And you can just go to our vinevolunteers.com page, click on virtual Vine, and the whole top part has a bunch of the exercise classes that are done. So you can refresh them, or you can do the same one over again and get used to it like I usually do, so you're not hurting yourself.
Good to know. Yeah, I can't wait. One of my top priorities when I retire is getting involved down at Vine, and so hopefully I'll see all you guys down there soon.
Yeah. Great. We miss having people back in the building.
Oh, I bet.
We were almost expanding the fitness center and the walking track. Well, the walking track, when it got cooler, it got quite busy up here. So that was good to see. And hopefully we'll be back again soon.
Yeah, for sure.
Are your virtual classes, do they cost money?
No, everything we're doing right now is free of charge.
Okay.
Wow.
We don't want to exclude folks if that's a barrier for them. Zoom is usually the bigger barrier. So I'm glad to see everybody is on here helping out and experimenting a little bit like Larry was with sharing his screen. But did anybody have any questions? Otherwise, I want to make sure that Joyce gets a chance to make a couple of announcements and some information here. So anybody have any questions or comments?
Yes, thank you very much. It was great.
Good, thank you. Thanks for joining from Iowa.
Yeah, now Kim, I do have one question for you. Do you catch any flack from your spouse or family about watching Hallmark movies?
Oh my gosh, yes, I do, especially when I'm crying at the end of it. You know?
I don't do a whole
And
lot
then
of
I'll say to Dan, I just have to watch the end to make sure they get together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when he leaves the room.
Now, what are the chances they're not going to get together?
Slim to none.
I enjoy them. I enjoy
I
them,
do too.
but catch a lot of flack. Oh,
Well, I will make a comment about Zoom. I'm so glad that I've done all these support things through Zoom, and I finally started pushing my family because we, you know, he has a son, I have 2 daughters. Everybody stayed in their own house, as did we. But I started pushing them the night before. Come on, I know out at the farm you have Zoom. The 12-year-old came through and
Oh,
said,
there you
yeah, if you don't have any adults, if you got anybody from 10 on up, they probably can handle it for you.
Yep.
Zoom has been great for our family gatherings. As we move out of the house next week, we're going to have a Zoom meeting Saturday with all of the kids as we go through each one of the empty rooms for memories and things like that. We even Zoomed for Iowa Hawkeye basketball and football games, some of the boys.
Mhm.
Sounds like your Gophers football team has got a lot of trouble with COVID. They had to cancel 2 games.
Yeah.
That's too bad. But thank goodness we beat you.
And soundly beat us, wasn't it? It was.
Yes. I didn't want to say anything mean
Yeah.
spirited.
It was a real spanking, that's for sure.
All
We'll
right.
get you next time.
Yeah.
6 years straight.
I think the Zoom thing has been wonderful because we need the socialization.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we're all staying home and we're not as social as we used to be, and we just miss that.
Hmm.
And that can play as big a role as anything else in keeping our spirits up so that we can be a good caregiver or
Absolutely.
being a good human.
Hmm.
Have you heard what the McGaws have been up to? We've now done 2 birthdays in cars. Right. So one was mine on November 12th, and it was actually snowing. And she says, I'm bringing food. We'll meet on your driveway. We decided to move the truck out, reverse the van so we could see each other. And we'd have to run the windshield wipers. So, no, it was, and then yesterday it was the little one who turned 5. So we met at the church parking lot in Mapleton and we did it all over again.
There you go.
You know, it works. Thank God she, you know, she's not so OCD. She doesn't really mind if they're slopping ketchup all over in her Yukon or what they're up to. I did get out. I gave the little one a scooter of Sky Patrol, Miss Sky herself. We have the film of her zooming down the sidewalk. So, you know, but without much contact.
Mhm.
It really filled my cup because I hadn't seen them for about 3 weeks. I told her at the end, you can hug my leg. I don't know if you can, now if I get COVID, that's it, guys. But you know, it works and it yeah, so.
Just have to be creative.
Yes. All right. Well, this is Joyce here, and I'm one of the Vine Community Living Coaches and also coordinator for our Caring Connection program. So I was so pleased when I called Mrs. Claus and she said, oh yeah, we'd be happy to do a program on self-care for caregivers. And so thank you to you and Ms. Blitzen and Jackie. I just want to say how much we here at Vine appreciate all the ways that we collaborate with Mayo Health System. And just thank you so much for your staff, your Mayo Hospice staff, and also for the other many presenters that we host from Mayo. And for those of you who may be dealing with grief of a family member, especially during COVID, I want you to know that Jeannie Atkinson, AKA Ms. Blitzen, facilitates grief support groups through Mayo, and Vine also has a grief and loss support group. So we collaborate a lot in terms of making sure that all of our members also know about the Mayo support group. And I know that they do the same. You do the same. So thank you, Jeannie. And also, Mrs. Claus, I think you have a few biases about Iowans. I don't know. kind of sensed that.
You.
And Barry, I'm from Iowa too, so I was like, okay, enough.
There's some good people down there. There's good people down there too.
Joyce, I was gonna pick a fight, but I thank you for saying that. I'm glad you said it very nicely.
Of course, I'm just giving her a hard time because I like doing that.
Yeah.
Good for you.
And Sheila not only is a good dancer, but she's an amazing drummer. I work with both Sheila and Kim at St. John the Baptist in music, and they're excellent musicians. And Jeannie, I don't know, maybe you are too. So
No.
anyway,
Kim asked to tell a funny story, if you don't mind. Kim asked me to be in the choir, and I told my husband, and he said, Mrs. Hudson, you have many great qualities, but singing is not one of them.
but anyway, your presentation today was fun, was informative, relaxing, and just probably what all of us needed this afternoon. So thank you. I do want to say a couple things about our caregiver support. We have Wednesday virtual support group coming up next Wednesday. So it's the 2nd and 4th Wednesday of the month. And those are from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. We also have an LGBTQ caregiver support group Wednesday from 4 to 5. So please help us spread the word about both of those. And those are all virtual. And our grief and loss group right now is meeting on Wednesdays. And we started a series in November, and we'll be meeting through December, and then we'll start another new series. Also, I want to tell you about a program coming up on 2 weeks from today, the 16th of December. And it's going to be presented by Jeff Buchanan, a professor at MSU of psychology. We've had Jeff before for other programs. This particular one is called, Is This Normal? Guidelines for Differentiating Normal Memory Changes from Dementia. So December 16th, 2 to 3 p.m. on Zoom. Let me just read the description if you don't mind. Have you ever experienced a lapse in memory and thought and wondered, is this normal or something more serious? Distinguishing normal changes in memory and thinking from the early stages, from the early signs of dementia can be difficult. This presentation will provide guidelines to help make this distinction. In addition, strategies for effectively communicating concerns about memory and thinking to medical providers will be reviewed, and the value of detecting dementia as early as possible will be emphasized. So if you can join us for that. As Mike said, all of our other programs, and these as well, are on our website, vinevolunteers.com. So join us again, and thanks a lot, Mrs. Claus and Ms. Blitzen and Jackie.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Good to see you all.
Joyce.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Oh, and Mike, will you be able to play our last little video?
Yeah, I've actually got, I'm watching the front door and there's a
Oh,
UPS
okay.
driver down there. I was wondering, Joyce, would you be able to go down and take care of that?
Sure, what do I do?
Just pick up, he's just there with the delivery for the UPS. So we just need to
Will
take.
do. Okay, bye everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Joyce.
Bye.
That's what I was trying to do. Oh.
Thank you, everyone. It was very good.
It was fun.
I need to leave, so
Yeah.
I
Bye,
will
Diane.
say goodbye.
I'm not sure I'm gonna be,
Happy
able,
holidays,
You
everybody.
too.
I can't make this share. I'm sorry. We'll just have to finish up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So tell them, Jackie, tell them what we were going to show.
Well, we had a clip of evidently Jack LaLanne and his wife Elaine LaLanne were on, I think it was Good Morning America or one of the shows. And what we had found on YouTube was a little clip of the song that he sings at
Okay.
the end of his show. Oh, hearing, so he's singing with himself.
Forbes, it's about time for us to say goodbye. And, Jack used to close all his shows with a song. Would you like to hear it? All right.
I want to thank you for letting us come into your home. I appreciate it more than you'll ever know. And I just hope that each and every one of you will do something for the most important person in the world, you. You know what time it is? It's time to let's say goodbye. These precious moments just seem to fly. Now here's my wish for you. May the good Lord bless and keep you too. God bless you. You're great.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
There we go. Good old Jack and Wayne.
Very good.
Thank you, Uncle Jack.
Okay, bye, everybody.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks for coming.
Take care.
Take care.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Here we go.